In May 2026, the Indian Rupee finally reached a historic low, breaching the 95.62 mark against the US dollar. The Reserve Bank of India immediately mobilized a massive institutional defense, depleting $12 billion of its foreign exchange reserves in a matter of weeks to slow the currency's freefall. When earlier market interventions proved insufficient, the government triggered aggressive executive measures, specifically hiking gold import duties to 15% to halt capital from bleeding out of the country. Prime Minister Modi appealed directly to the public, calling for a temporary halt to international travel, an end to gold purchases, and a shift to working from home to conserve national reserves. This rapid depreciation functions as a live balance of payments stress test, one that directly challenges the daily economic survival of 1.4 billion people. Curious, explanatory. The collapse was triggered by external geopolitical shocks, starting with the US-Iran conflict that pushed Brent crude oil prices above $104 a barrel. Compounding this was the US Federal Reserve's decision to keep interest rates high. A strong US dollar pulls capital away from emerging markets, effectively draining investment from the Indian economy. These shocks hit India's core structural vulnerability. The nation imports 85 to 88% of its total crude oil requirements. To cover that $104 oil cost, Indian companies must purchase billions in extra US dollars. This surge in demand directly weakens the rupee. Market confidence wavered as a result. Foreign institutional investors pulled $20.6 billion out of Indian financial markets, accelerating the downward spiral. International conflicts and foreign interest rates have created a cycle of capital flight, removing wealth from the country before a consumer makes a purchase. The result is imported inflation. Because the cost of bringing foreign goods into the country has spiked, daily life across India has become more expensive. This economic strain has split the population into two distinct realities, creating a dual-track consumption phenomenon. Middle and lower income groups are now downtrading, slashing discretionary spending and settling for cheaper alternatives on essential goods to survive food inflation. Affluent consumers remained largely insulated. Sales of premium, high-end cars and flagship smartphones actually increased during the same period the rest of the market contracted. Families with students studying abroad face a sudden, direct surcharge. They are now paying lakhs of rupees more for the same tuition and housing costs they budgeted for just months ago. The abstract macroeconomic ledger translates into a localized tax. It depletes household savings and forces a revision of basic lifestyle choices for everyday citizens. Despite the widespread strain, the currency's decline has carved out a new class of economic winners within the country. India's IT sector and pharmaceutical exporters are seeing windfall profits. Because they earn in dollars, those revenues now convert into significantly more rupees, boosting their operating margins. Non-resident Indians also find their position strengthened. Their dollar remittances home now carry much higher purchasing power in the local economy than they did a year ago. The depreciation acts as an invisible wealth transfer, rewarding exporters and foreign earners while placing the burden of costs on importers and the working class. This pressure is beginning to change consumer psychology. Findings from a study in Gandhinagar suggest a behavioral shift is taking hold. Faced with the high cost of imported products, over 60% of consumers are now switching to Indian-made alternatives. This loyalty is not unconditional. 90% cite quality as the deciding factor, indicating a practical economic calculation. This shift has accelerated a broader movement of economic nationalism, providing a market-driven push for the government's Make in India manufacturing initiatives. The crash of the rupee has served as a painful lesson in the risks of global import dependence. It is now shifting the incentives for both consumers and industries to prioritize a